Welcome to night 106 of History Bedtime Stories in bed in our pajamas. And tonight's episode is brought to you by the wonderful folks at Buddy's Pizza. Tonight, we're talking about Johann Friedrich von Schiller, a man who never set foot in Detroit, never set foot in Michigan, and lived in Germany from 1793 to 1831. And you might be asking yourself, history bedtime stories about Detroit. Why are we talking about a German poet, philosopher, historian, and dramatist? Well, that's because in 1909, 40% of the population of Detroit had German heritage. Almost half of all Detroiters had some claim to German heritage in their bloodline. And because of that, they had become a really popular and influential group. And when we talk about Detroit, you have to mention that we are a city of immigrants. For nearly 300 years, the population of this city has largely been made up of people who came from somewhere else. And unless you're part of the Maumee, Ottawa, or Three Fires tribes, the Native Americans who made up the land that would become Detroit long before the French founding, we all immigrated here in one way or another. And for this massive German American population that at the turn of the century is really gaining wealth and influence in Detroit, they want to in some way honor their heritage. So they hire a Danish-born, notably not German, a Danish-born artist who had been working here in Detroit, Herrmann Metzen. And Metzen creates this sort of reclined, seated figure of the poet Schiller, done in bronze on a granite base. It is unveiled in 1909 and today resides on Belle Isle, sort of for all time, looking out at picnickers and beachgoers, and it's not a bad view for all eternity. But the Schiller statue is more of a statue to the German American citizens of the city of Detroit. The statue represents, of course, Johann Friedrich von Schiller, who among all of his famous pieces is probably most well known for William Tell, the story of a man who had to, with bow and arrow, shoot an apple off of his son's head. Today, Schiller reclines on the island, probably thinking up lots more stories, and hopefully nobody's shooting anything off their kids' heads at the Belle Isle beach. But he stands as a reminder of all of our immigrant heritage, but especially German American heritage here on the island. I hope you're enjoying History Bedtime Stories. Wash your hands. We'll see you tomorrow night.